the Friday, June 12th, 2020 edition of the Clemson Dubcast, a momentous day in the history of Clemson University as the Board of Trustees changes the Calhoun Honors College into the Clemson University Honors College and moves to request to the State General Assembly an exemption or an exception to the Heritage Act in removing Ben Tillman's name from Tillman Hall. And then, of course, comes Saturday, the peaceful demonstration by Clemson's football team and others in the community. I think I speak for everyone in saying this is a time none of us will ever forget. On the football-related side of things, we have been doing a series of articles in their own words with former Clemson football players, asking their what they're up to now, also their thoughts on the program, also their thoughts on playing the 2020 season amid a pandemic. Jock McKissick's story is up right now. What a cool cat. He's out in L.A. He is working with Bryan Cranston. Yes, that Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad Bryan Cranston, on an upcoming series. Really, really cool stuff to hear Jock talk about his career trajectory in acting and writing. So check that out. If you're not a member of TigerIllustrated.com, all summer long, free access. We have a special going on, so check it out right now. Title sponsor of the podcast since the very day we began, Parham Smith and Archingham Law Firm in downtown Greenville. I've known Blake Smith for a long time. I guess about 10 or 12 years ago, he helped me with the situation involving some possible medical malpractice, gave me some great advice, and it wasn't just preferential treatment. That's how he and his staff, which includes Brooke Archinhold, handle every case. They are founded on a dedication to helping injured individuals throughout South Carolina. Free consultations. Phone number 864-990-4581 or online at parhamlaw.com, P-A-R-H-A-M law.com. Another loyal supporter of the Dubcast is Blackacre Law Firm in Greenville, a subsidiary of Parham Smith and Archinhold. Blackacre helps South Carolina residents achieve their dreams of home ownership by providing experienced professional representation for real estate closings. Attention to detail is crucial in real estate law. Blackacre is committed to making sure nothing gets by them preparing residential or commercial closings. Blackacre also offers estate planning services for their clients in the Greenville area. Find out more about Blackacre at 864-326-3507. Okay, first up, Durrell Berry, former Clemson tight end, former member of the staff, current police officer in the Columbia area. Really compelling and powerful stuff from Durrell in the wake of all the recent tumult. Okay, here we go. Enjoy. Okay, joined by Durrell Berry, former Clemson tight end. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you, Larry?
I'm okay. I think we go back when I was at the Post and Courier, and you were a football player, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and developed a relationship with you because you were from our coverage area.
Yeah, from Charleston area, Fort Worth Charleston High School.
Yeah, and we've kept in touch ever since. Well, first of all, tell everybody what you're up to, living in Lexington and working as a police officer, right?
Yeah, man. So after I was able to work in Clemson, we won that national championship. We ended up moving back to Lexington, where we bought our house before that, and then got into law enforcement. I worked for Richland County Sheriff's Department. And man, it's taken off big time. It was definitely a learning curve for me, having to switch from sports to a law enforcement background. But man, I hit the ground running. Ended up getting promoted pretty early. Been on Live PD, one of the featured deputies on Live PD, which is like the #1 show on cable television. And then got promoted to the community action team, which I'm able to work the road, but then I'm also able to go into communities, build relationships. Talk to who's in the community, so that way I'm able to report back to the sheriff what's really going on out there rather than just running around answering calls all day. So I'm able to do kind of have the best of both worlds when it comes to law enforcement, serve the community, and then also work the road and try to fight crime as well. So it's been good, man. Family's good, everybody's good. Just trying to survive. That's it. So kind of a public relations role in essence. No, it's, we have our public relations department, but with me, it's just rather than going into a community and my radio keeps going off and saying, hey, we need you to answer this call, and this call. I get to choose what call I want to go to or help out with. But then I also get to, figure out, okay, Mr. Lewis, who lives over on Stanford Street, that's the community president. So I get to go and meet with Mr. Lewis and see what's going on in the community, who people, they'll talk to him before they'll talk to law enforcement, and then he can kind of let me know, hey, you need to focus on this house, or this is what you need to do. And then I can get with the special teams division and really tackle certain problems that are in the area. Or if the sheriff just says, hey, how's my community doing over here? He doesn't have to ask, 8 different deputies that work the area. He just comes to me, and it's my responsibility to know what's going on in the entire area, what kind of projects we have going on, and make sure that community relations are good, being that, I think that's one of the qualities that I brought to Clemson when I was coaching up there. Is just I was able to talk to everybody, no matter ethnicity, background, whatever, social class. It was all about how you talk to somebody, build those relationships as quick as you can in recruiting, so that way they feel more at home. And it's the same thing I'm doing out there, just saying, hey, I represent the sheriff in this area. If you have a problem, just please let me know. I'm somebody that you can trust, and I'm somebody that'll get the job done.
What have the last 2 weeks been like for you?
Man, I'm almost speechless when it comes to certain things that have happened, because I never thought that I would be in the middle of something like that. But the first day, so they call us out, we're downtown, we're staged up, and they said that they're going to protest. And for the most part, everybody, on my team and in my department said, and as they should protest. What happened wasn't right. Well, then we're kind of jerking up Columbia Police Department. It was in their jurisdiction, but we're the Sheriff's Department, of course, which is in our county. And so we kind of slow played it and downplayed it and said, you know what, we're just here for backup. It'll be great. And then they start rolling those guys out in their riot gear. And then about an hour after that, they called and said, hey, we need you guys. And before you know it, I'm standing in front of Columbia Police Department. We're the first line of defense. I got this shield up, this helmet on, and people are in our face calling us. Just anything, man. It was, it was sad, man. I wanted to stand there with them, but being on this side, I understand that not every cop is a bad cop. What happened was wrong, but it was crazy to me that they looked at me and they were taking their anger out at me over what somebody else did, even though every day when I go to work, I'm trying to help somebody. My goal is not to lock anybody up, it's to help somebody. But they were throwing bottles, they were throwing rocks all day long. It was hot out there. We had to make sure we didn't lock our legs. And it was eye-opening, man. It was scary for a little bit.
Is it hard when you're in that role, in that setting, is it hard to just keep a stone face, almost like a robot, when you have all those emotions swirling within you?
Yeah, but you have to, you got to keep it professional. That's the biggest thing, So like I said before, I don't agree with what happened. I would want to protest too, but I'm also, I'm a deputy, I'm a law enforcement officer. So I understand how everybody's upset with law enforcement as a whole, but they have to understand that doesn't represent, 99% of law enforcement. It's happened, and I'm sorry that it's happened. It won't happen on my watch. It won't happen in my team or in my department. We're held to a higher standard, but I just think that when all that's going on, I'm thinking that in my head, like you said, so I'm trying to keep my composure, being upset about what happened and being upset that the people and the citizens of the county and the state and the country are upset. But then I still have to say, hey, look, I'm going to do my job. I understand you guys are upset, but you're not going to burn this car. And then they burn 3 police cars, or they try to burn down a parking garage, and they're looting and they're doing this stuff. And then that's where the anger comes out, because you're like, guys, this is not the way. This is not how you're going to get your message across, by saying, okay, well, we're going to burn and destroy this stuff. those cars are going to be replaced. That building is going to be replaced. The windows in that building are going to be replaced, and you're still not going to get what you want because of the way that you're going about it. So it's an emotional roller coaster for sure. And then, like I said, being in law enforcement, you have to protect yourself. It's just shocking to me that, I guess it's been like 3.5 years, 4 years that I've been in law enforcement, that this is kind of where we are today. And it's just crazy, man. It's a crazy world we're living in at the moment.
I apologize. I'm ignorant of what happened in Columbia, but you were saying that that 3 police cars were burned?
Yeah. So CPD was where our main protest was the first night. And they called us in, and we were kind of as backup for Columbia Police Department. They had their riot gear out, and we went and got ours as well. And we went to the front line, and the protesters stormed the police department. And so they put up a barrier, and I think an officer ended up getting hurt. And then they called us in for backup. And then we went, and then we kind of took over for them as the front line right in front of the door, and the sheriff was there. And just things were being thrown, and all type of demands are being asked, and there's a humongous crowd. And, you want to let them protest and let them do their thing. But then once they started getting destructive, then, the SWAT team comes out, and we have to act. And they burned 3 police cars. They tore up some cars in a parking garage right across the street from the Columbia Police Department, set one on fire. And then we were basically, yesterday was the first day that I've not been on standby for any kind of protest or riots. And it was rough, man. We're shooting tear gas and trying to run people off. A bunch of people got arrested. And so it's just scary to think like, hey, man, it's not why I got into law enforcement, but it's something that you have to do. But, once it's actually going on, like I said, just trying to keep it professional, do things the right way. So that way we're not on that, another reason why they're trying to protest for something.
What, if you can take me back to when you first saw the George Floyd video, can you just tell me what was going through your mind when you saw that?
I was speechless at first. My wife said, "Hey, have you seen the video?" I said, "No, I seen the picture." She said, "Well, I'm gonna send you the video." And she said, "Just, I think it's crazy." And my wife thinks everything's crazy. So I said, "All right, well, yeah, you just send it to me and I'll watch it." And I saw the picture, and it was him kneeling down on his neck. I said, "Man, that's brutal." And then once I saw the video, like I kind of got goosebumps while I was watching it, because I work in Richland County. Like I said, we're on live PD. I've been on TV. I've chased somebody on TV, tackled somebody on TV, been on top of somebody on TV. I would never, ever, ever put my knee on somebody's neck. And if I had to, it's because I don't think that I'm going to get home after this. It's dangerous. The guy's got a gun or something like that. But even so, once the cuffs are on, if you want to run from me again, go ahead. If you need some water, here's some water. If you need some food, here's some food. You're still going to go to jail no matter what happens after that, once you've been caught. So the confusing thing for me, like I said, I couldn't say anything, but I'm thinking in my head, like, hey, man, he said he can't breathe. Let him up. Let him breathe. He's still going to jail. You got him in cuffs. There's nothing that he can do to harm you unless he kicks you or, something like that. Let the guy up. If you need some water, give him some water. If you need the towel, give him the towel. And it's just in that, the only thing that I wanted to do is jump through the phone and just say, hey, help this guy. This guy's asking you for your help. He's still going to jail. It's not like he's trying to fight you and saying, I'm not going. He's still going. Just help him. He needs help. And that's where I'm so thankful for the department that I work for, that they've kind of built that into my head, that no matter how angry you get or frustrated you are with somebody that's breaking the law, once you catch them, they're still going to jail. If they need anything, give it to them. They're still going to jail. That's not our problem after that. Our problem is to catch them, and it's everybody's decision on what happens after that. So I just wanted him to be helped, man. That was it. I just feel like we should have helped him. They should have helped him. His partner should have helped him. Everybody there should have helped him. If I was a citizen on the side of the road, I think that I would have went to jail, because I'd have said, hey, look, this dude, all he's doing is asking for help. Just give him help. He's still going to jail. You got him in cuffs. You don't have to pin him down like that. And it was an unfortunate situation.
What do you think when you see the other officers just sort of standing there?
Unprofessional, cowards, period. I respect law enforcement 100%. I know that my partners would not let me do that. I would not let them do that, and it's understood. It's not something that we have to talk about. Like I said, I work directly under the sheriff. If he said, "Hey, I need y'all to go handle that," they're the group that he's sending. We understand that we have to hold each other accountable, and that something like that is just not supposed to happen. You will be, not even fired, but you'd probably be arrested on the spot by him. So I just thought that they should have said, "Hey, look, man, let's let him up. He's going to jail anyway. I don't know why you're resting on his neck for even more than 1 minute." I don't know. I just don't get it, but I haven't been in that position, so I don't know what that officer was going through. It's just, relating it to what I do every day, high-speed chases, stolen cars, locking up guys with guns, kids with guns. I've been in some dangerous situations already, very dangerous neighborhoods that I work in every day, and I still still wouldn't do that.
What's the most dangerous situation you've been in?
One was a high-speed chase with a stolen car. I've been in a bunch, but two of them were pretty borderline, where we were going really fast. On one of them, I think we were going, it was, it was 100 plus miles an hour. And then another one was we were going really fast in the neighborhood. And, we have our driver training, but the person that's driving that stolen car, they don't really care about anybody else. They just want to try to get away from the police. And sometimes you have to call the chase off, because they're getting close to hurting others. And those have been pretty dangerous. And then I had a call that there was some gunshots in a neighborhood. Went to the neighborhood, parked my car down the street, got out and started walking. And right at the wood line by some power lines, there were a bunch of kids that had AR rifles in the woods, and they were shooting at like a broken toilet, I think, that had been dumped in the power lines. And so I came out and I said, "Hey, y'all, listen here. I see that y'all have guns and long rifles. Those are very dangerous. Come over here, bring those guns over here. Let me talk to you." And then they took off into the woods with the guns. And then so basically it's like almost being warfare, because you don't know where they're hiding, what they're doing, and that they have these very, very powerful rifles, and then you want to get them out of the woods. So that was pretty scary, because I was trapped in the woods at the time where the power lines were, so I couldn't really move. I just had to stay where I was until my backup got there. And then once we had the dogs there, the dogs could track for them, and we ended up finding the kids bunked down in the woods. But it's just dangerous because like I said, a lot of the neighborhoods that I've been working in so I can learn fast have been predominantly, high crime areas, a bunch of crack, cocaine, bunch of weapons. So like I said, a lot of stolen cars, because people can't afford cars, so they steal them to have a way around. And then it's just tough sometimes, man. I don't know. I think it's dangerous every day, especially now when you're in a marked car and you're driving around the neighborhood. But I would say those three were pretty dangerous.
I don't know if you saw Live PD got canceled by A&E.
Yeah, they called us last night, and they said what they're doing is they're going to cancel it, and they're still trying to brainstorm a way to keep the show going. So it's not canceled all the way, but just for right now, and like I said, as it should be, until everyone can calm down and not think that Durrell is the guy from Minneapolis that knelt on the guy's neck. I think that, hey man, cancel it, give cops a break, and kind of let this mow over. Hopefully it does. Let the country's voices be heard on how they feel. But then it also gives us an opportunity to show, like, hey, that's not us. We're not him. We're still here to help. And the show is a good way to do that. I will say this. I've been able to help a lot of people on the show. I just went to the gym. I was just at the gym, and I was on the phone with Danny Pearman. I'm getting ready to start my workout, and he was asking about it. And a guy walks by that's working on, I guess, equipment. He wasn't even in workout yet. And he said, "That's where I know you from. Live PD, man. We had a run-in together." and so, like, that happened while I was on the phone about an hour ago. And it's good because he was smiling. He was laughing. I probably pulled him over for something. I probably cut him a break, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So there is good that comes of it. You're able to the sheriff has put the right people on the team and on the show, so that way you're able to be recognized in the public. He knows that you're going to go out and you're going to, you know, find what you need to find to make the show successful, and also build those relationships so that way the country can see what we do on a day-to-day basis.
How does that work? How do you find out you're going to be on it on a particular day? Does your boss just say, "Okay, they're going to be with you today"?
We have a schedule that gets sent out through our PIO office. So the producer of the show, she'll meet with our PIO and the sheriff, and they'll say, "This is who we want for the month of so-and-so." And then it all comes down from A&E in New York. And so they'll say, "Hey, this deputy is doing a good job. Let's try to get this deputy on a little bit more." Danny Brown, I would say that he's our star from our live PD group in our department. He's been here a long time. He knows the area. He knows, he's built relationships as well. Everybody knows him as downtown. You know, that's good. They know that when Danny Brown's out, he's gonna find some weed on somebody or a gun on somebody. But they also know that, hey, he's also out here doing his job. He's very good at it, and that's why he's been put on the show. So they just send us a schedule, and right now me and Danny Brown are slotted for the 27th. They canceled it, and then if they pick back up, we just kind of pick back up on our weekend. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully we get the break. I feel like it'd just be good for the country just not to have it out right now. Let everybody's voices continue to be heard, and then we can maybe pick back up with the show later. They said it's not canceled, forever, but it's just canceled for right now.
Rice is a staple in my household. Man, we must cook it 6, 7, 8 times a week with so many different dishes. Well, here's an opportunity to have an exceptionally high-quality rice, Charleston Gold Rice, delivered to your front door. Good friend Don Quattlebaum, Clemson class of 76, produces Charleston Gold Rice at Georgetown's White House Plantation in South Carolina's old tidal rice fields. The property on the PD and Black Rivers dates to 1735. My family has eaten this rice, and we love it. You can absolutely taste the difference. Find Charleston Gold Rice at GeeChyBoyMill.com. That's GEECHIE boymill.com. Phone number 843-631-0077. Also ask them about their wholesale opportunities. Harris Flooring has been a major part of the facilities enhancements over at Clemson, not just with athletics, but also at the university level. And we are thrilled that they are a part of the Dubcast as a sponsor. Since 1947, the Junkins family and Harris Flooring have provided a unique shopping experience through value in their services, developing the right product solutions, and delivering on their promises. To check out some reviews on their work, just go to their Facebook page, Harris Flooring America. Rave reviews, just first class all the way. Phone number 864-642-6183. I'm interested to hear what you think about, I guess, my personal opinion on the whole live PD, just its existence. I can't watch, mainly because I feel, everybody has their worst moments, whether it's involved with law enforcement or whatever, and those people's worst moments are being broadcast like live, not only not like a beyond like a mugshot or a court appearance, but it's like live, and I don't know, man. I just can't. It just makes me feel bad for those people. What do you think of that?
Yeah, and it's okay to think that. Sometimes they are people's worst moments. But I would say that the other half is every day. It's what
Yeah.
every day is that car right there. That car always has weed in it. You happen to see it when you're doing the show, and sure enough, now that car has weed in it. Our car has a gun in it. We take the gun, we take the serial number, we run it through 9 things, and it comes back to a shooting that happened on Drive or Palmer Drive 4 months ago that ends up helping us solve something. So, it's, we're not out there trying to embarrass anybody. We're just out there trying to show what we do every day. And I think that's the benefit of the show, to say, hey, look, cops aren't getting paid a lot of money. There's managers at Chick-fil-A that make more than police officers. And police officers are the ones that have to show up to your house when you say, I think somebody's in there. Well, go get the manager that's getting paid more than us at Chick-fil-A to go in that house and see if anybody's in there. No, I want you to do it. You get what I'm saying? Oh, so I'm going to take the first bullet for you if somebody is in here. Seeing things like that, when it's broadcasted, it just gives you a whole new respect for law enforcement, and then you feel bad for the citizens when they're caught in a bad situation. Like you said, it's just their worst moments. But to me, I think they can make it through it, because it could be a lot worse if we were working with different teams that go in and they're showing some of the other stuff. So this is just the day-to-day patrol. There's stuff that's way worse than the day-to-day patrol, but everybody has their own opinion. It's all good.
Chris Rock said years ago that pay is a huge part of the problem. You get what you pay for. You think there's something to that, which you just sort of alluded to a minute ago?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. 100%. You think about it, if you saying, hey, police officers are going to be paid 2 to 3 times what they're paid now, the service gets 2 to 3 times better. You're going to pay them 10 times what they're getting paid now, the requirements go up, and the service is going to be 10 times better. So, it's like anything. Do you want to shop at Walmart, Sam's, or Costco? It's all the same deal, but, I think the product goes up. I don't, iPhone versus a flip phone, it's the same thing. But I will say this, that if the department is run the right way, top down, it really doesn't matter how much you're getting paid, because the guys that are working at that department want to be there. But, don't complain about something that's going on if you're not making, if you're saying, okay, well, we don't want to pay those guys, and they're in high stress situations, they're stressed out in their personal life because of finances or anything like that. Luckily, I work with, a handful of people that don't have to worry about that, and you can see kind of both sides. But it's like overtime. Guys have to work overtime to be able to pay rent or their car payment and that kind of thing. And, that could be with any job. But what I'm saying is, in this situation, it's with the job that you're saying, defund the police. Okay, well, let's defund them. Let's take the police away. And now somebody just threw a rock in my window. Well, who are you going to call?
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll call the fire department. Okay, well, great. Call the fire department. Yes, ma'am. Somebody did throw a rock through your window. We're going to put this board over it. Well, can you go in there and see if he's still in there? No, ma'am. Well, who's going to? Okay. There is nobody. You get what I'm saying? We'll call the military. You're going to have to call somebody, because all of a sudden, when the bad guys know that we just defunded the police, then they're still bad guys. They're not going to say, okay, I'm not going to do anything bad because there's not police around. So, it is what it is. I get frustrated with it, just seeing, some of the situations that some of my colleagues are in. But it is what it is. You have to do it for the right reason, and I'm not doing it for the pay. But I would think that if requirements go up, pay goes up, then you kind of get what you pay for.
You said you spoke with Danny Pearman. You played for him for a year. You coached with him. Can I get your take on what's unfolded with that?
Yeah, I called him as soon as I read it. I was actually coaching up there when all that happened, and I said, "Hey, man, I think if it had come from myself, Michael Palmer, Dwayne Allen, Phillip Price, Stanton Seconder, Cooper. There's so many other tight ends that you could say, if it come from one of them, DJ, DJ and his dad worked there when all this happened, but no one knows that unless, you've been in the area or you're kind of part of the family or you follow the program closer than what the average person follows it. So I just said, hey, man, we all know what happened. We know what kind of person you are. That's not the way that, what's his name, made it come out. That's not the way that it was. It was more him, Tuttle. That, it was more him just repeating what was said, which he even said, hey, look, I just shouldn't have even repeated it. And I said, yeah, but, you're just trying to teach the kid, like, hey, look, this is what was said. He repeated what he said and said, don't speak like that. And it was what it was. Probably still shouldn't have said it. He said I shouldn't have said it, but it wasn't with any kind of, ill will or malicious intent for him to say it or calling him that. He was just repeating what was said. And man, it's just it's a different day we live in. I guarantee you, if anybody shows any signs of any kind of hate like that, or maybe not even just kind of using that language, Coach Sweeney wouldn't have it. He's almost as straightforward as they come, and so he wouldn't be there now if that was the case. So, the family knows what's going on. He was able to talk about it. DJ's able to talk about it, put it to bed. They've talked multiple times since then, for years since then. I just don't understand why that guy, Tuttle, would bring that up at a time like this. But then we all kind of realize what kind of person would bring something up like that at a time like this. And this is not a good person, so it's not a good idea either. I don't think he has enough respect or love for the program to do something like that right now. But at the same time, where the world is today, everybody's entitled to their opinion, let their voice be heard, and that's what he wanted to be heard by, I guess.
Do you remember there being like a group of players who weren't satisfied that it was addressed sufficiently, maybe in a team setting, or what was your recollection of it?
Of the players that went and protested?
No. Back in 17, when the incident, after the incident happened, it sounds like it wasn't addressed like in a team setting, and maybe a few players, including Greenlee himself, maybe were wondering why it wasn't. I was just curious for your recollection of that.
No, it was addressed between Greenlee, coach, and Pearman. They talked about it. They explained what happened. Coach said, hey, I told him we don't say that here, even if it's just repeating it. It is what it is. We moved on by, and he handled the situation there. Greenlee was not mad. It's not like he stormed around and said, I'm upset. You get what I'm saying? They handled it. And then Coach Sweeney said, this is what happened. This is how I handled it. And that's that. He wasn't trying to call him out of his name or say it. He was repeating, but he doesn't even need to repeat it, and he won't repeat it again. Period. End of story. We're moving on. That's not happening here. If you do, you're not going to be here. And it's understood. So, I'm sorry we didn't invite Tuttle to that meeting, but he wasn't important enough at the time to be there. He was just a bystander and said, hey, maybe I can use this in a couple of years to try to shame somebody because I didn't get my playing time or whatever it was. I mean, coming for Coach Sweeney or DJ Clemson or anybody for that matter right now, it's just, he needs to be worried about what's going on in the country and not bringing up old stuff, in my opinion.
How closely have you followed Clemson the past few years?
I try to get up there a couple times a year. Still talk to Tony every now and then. I text Coach probably once or twice a month. And then also Jeff, try to text him every now and then. He's been busy getting that program started. So I was up there for, and then I was up there for the career fair for, of course, I studied criminal justice when I was there, so Dr. Britz is up there. She had a huge career deal for criminal justice, and I went up there and helped her as well. So I'm up there every now and then. I was up there for Chris Chancellor's wedding, so I always stop by the offices, and I try to at least stay in the know as far as that goes. But just let everybody work, man. I follow it. I'm a Tiger, so I try to follow it as much as I can.
How do you wrap your mind around where this program is? I mean, you were around when it seemed like a pipe dream just to win the ACC, and now it's like it sounds crazy to suggest they won't be in the playoff every single year.
Yeah, well, I think that I don't know, but when Coach Sweeney was here, I was a tight end. I was the field stretching tight end, so I was the runner, the route runner, for the most part. So I was always paying attention to what the receivers were doing, trying to find a way to get open, and that kind of thing. I always paid attention to Coach Sweeney, and I think he noticed that I was always watching him. And I can tell you, man, I knew that once he took over, that he already had a plan. Like this is what he's doing now is what he saw back then. There's no doubt in my mind. And I think when I explained that to him is why he gave me an opportunity to come up there for a few years, because I didn't have to be a superstar on the team back then. I just had to lead and do my part in the locker room as a junior and as a senior to be like, hey, y'all, look, this dude is for real. I wouldn't call anybody out. I wouldn't say anything, but I've seen what this dude is saying. I believe what he's saying. If y'all just listen for a minute, this dude knows it's going to take some time. The best is yet to come. He kept saying that. He was saying, we're going to wear suits on trips when I'm a head coach. And he's saying all this stuff, and he's putting it into place. This dude has a plan. Let's just follow this plan. And so back then, if you were on the team, and like I said, you weren't consumed with necessarily just yourself or school, and if you had the chance and the opportunity and just took the time like I did to sit down and watch Coach Sweeney work in those early years and figure things out, you knew that the direction that he was going in, that's where the program was going to be. So I'm happy for it. I'm glad that he was able to let me come up there and experience it for a few years. And man, it's a blessing. And it's cool to see because, like I said, I knew him when he was just a position coach. And when he was walking down the hallway, man, look at those zip-ups you got on, man. You know what I'm saying? Those zip-ups and those sneakers. That's what we used to wear. He's like, look at that, Durrell. He'd be like, you know what? When I'm a coach, man, we're going to wear suits, man. It's going to be a business trip, man. We're going to look sharp. And you're like, man, shut up. Yeah, right, whatever. And then all of a sudden, shoot, he said, hey, we're wearing suits. And then now he's got the tailors coming in saying, hey, look, this is the kind of the fashion for the year, man. You should get a blue one and this, and you should look like this right here. Or you should buy a suit that looks like this. And it's just, them dudes look sharp, man. You see them in the pictures when they get off the plane. They got cowboy hats on, boots, and it makes them feel a lot better. They're growing up, Back in the days, we had seniors on the team that, man, it would be cool to see them guys, those leaders in suits, and giving off that image rather than a zip up while we're traveling. And then when people see us at the airports and traveling and walking into the hotels and they say, what team is that? It's just like, who cares? They look good doing it. They don't have to have orange on with a paw on it for people to know, or it just doesn't need to be happening. So there were little things like that. When we have a team meeting, we're going to have, this group of seniors talk, and we're going to sit this way, and that way, the leaders are up front and the other leaders are before them, and then you get to vote who you want to bring down. I mean, he had a plan, and that's what's so strong about him and I still think he has a plan to this day. He's won national championships, but I still think that he has more stuff up his sleeve and it's just going to keep getting better. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for all the coaches up there that he's kept around. I'm happy for the coaches that he brought in. Even Venables. He does. Man, it's cool to see that all fall into place and just keep getting stronger.
So he was an assistant when he was looking at your zip ups and saying, this is how it's going to be when I'm running my own program.
Yeah.
Walking through the McFadden building.
Yeah. we were in the McFadden building, and he was just like, that's when, nowadays in the fashion, it's more, fitted clothes, polos, just more designer wear, versus back then it was, what size you want the shirt? 3X. Like, come on, man, you're not 300 pounds. Yeah, but I want it big. And then it was baggy. And he just said, hey, look, I get what you're doing, and I get the fashion deal, but man, how cool would it be to load the buses on Friday wearing a suit, making it more like a business trip. And like I said, half of the group is looking at him like, man, I'd rather be comfortable traveling. And the other half is like, you know what? I think he's got something here. Change the image, make us look more professional. You get what I'm saying? It changes that mindset of, now this guy's on the bus and he's leaning back with his feet over the seat versus, no, I'm in a suit. I can't do that in this suit anyway. Or I'm going to rip the pants, so I'm going to sit up. I'm going to look more professional. You get what I'm saying? It just, I'm able to focus on the game a little bit more rather than just laying around, just trying to chill. So it's cool seeing what he said back then. Just little things like that fall into place. And, that's old news now. They've been wearing suits forever, but that's just one of the things that I remember back then when he said, hey, look, you guys are the juniors and seniors. I need y'all to be all in. And I'm like, dude, you ain't been a head coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you talking about? And then he's going through everything. And he's like, look, if y'all just pay attention, this is about to take off. And it really did. And so that's why we back him to this day, man. He's as straightforward as they come, man. What he says, he means 100%. He ain't got time to talk about nothing that he doesn't mean. So
as someone who was a part of that foundation and who is obviously so appreciative of how he built that foundation, and you've been a part of it even more recently, does it hurt you to see some of the stuff that has been said about him nationally?
It does, but it's kind of like the lion or the tiger doesn't bother themselves with the opinion of sheep, that kind of thing. The more successful that he is, people keep coming from him. So nobody cared when he was a receivers coach and he still had his faith. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. He's still saying he's a Christian. He's still praying for people. He's still doing all that, but nobody cared back then. Nobody said anything about his faith back then. Boy, now that he's a head coach, nobody cared because he's trying to win the ACC, like you said. He's still a Christian. He never lost his faith. He never strayed from his faith. And then he wins a national championship, and the moment that he points up at the sky and says, all glory to God, or he professes his faith and his Christianity, now people care. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So I think that he's just said, hey, look, I'm just going to stay. He's just him. He's going to stand by who he is, what he's doing, period, and the story. And then once you're 100% genuine, and he's bringing guys in around him that are 100%, those kids believe in that. Kids in school, hopefully it's my son too. When those coaches come in through that front door, all I'm going to do is sit on the couch and I'm going to look this man in the face. I'm going to say, I don't believe a word he's saying. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Or this guy came in here and he's 100%. I'd rather my son be with somebody who's 100% with a family image, that family school, that family style program versus, hey man, you come in here, this is what I want you to do. But like, all right, well, that's the speech that you're giving everybody. And I hope my son can do that, be successful and great and all. But, what happened if my son rolls an ankle or something like that? It's just, I think that, he stayed true to who he is. His program is true to what it is. And, there are always going to be people that would rather watch the world burn than to build it up. And I think that those are the people that said, hey, today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go after Coach Sweeney. I mean, good luck. Good luck. He's not going to change just because you're going after him. He's going to be the same person. He's not going to change anything that he has going on. So it does upset me, but there's more to come. This isn't the last time that somebody's going to come from him because he's not going to stop being successful. So hopefully he just keeps his head down and focusing on winning on our next national championship. And I'll be there to high five him. I'll shoot him the text. I'll be at the game. And then we'll worry about the next group of haters and the next national championship after that.
What's your favorite memory from your time at Clemson?
Do you want like a memory that everybody knows about, or do you want like some exclusive? Do you want like a story that might get me in trouble? I'll let you pick, man.
Probably one that not everybody knows about because that's the most interesting stuff.
All right, so we were in a. There's evidence to support this too. When you do the first time that I'm going to tell this story, there's only about me and 3 other people that do it. But since we go back to Charleston, I'm going to I'm gonna tell you the story.
Awesome.
So we're playing North Carolina in the ACC championship, and if you go back and watch the film, you could probably do a cool little cut up on this. So the first time we punt, the defense, they all backed off, and at the time we had Andy Teasdall, and the defense backs off, and I'm like, hey coach, Andy could have ran that. We could have faked it. They didn't care about the punter. And he says,
This is Dabo?
Yeah. And then so I said, hey, Jeff, look at the defense back on that punt. They didn't care about Andy at all. And he said, yeah. Well, then, I told one more person. I can't remember who it was. That was Danny Pearman, of course, because he's special teams. And he said, yeah. So we punted again. Look at the next punt. The defense backs off. And I went to Andy and I said, hey, dude, I think we're about to fake a punt because the defense is not caring about you. They backing off. And he says, oh, you think so? I said, dude, I think it's going to happen. I've been watching. My responsibility on special teams was to watch the defense. And they backed off twice. I said it on the headset again. Hey, y'all, they're backing off. Andy's going to be able to sneak one of these punts, and we're going to be able to run for it and get the first down. He said, oh, yeah. Well, I went to Andy. I said, hey, they haven't approved it yet, but they're saying that they're paying more attention to it. Look at the film. Next punt. I guess because I was talking to him in his head, and you don't talk to a punter in his head. You don't get in his head. You don't mess up his psyche. And if you look at the film, I think it was the third punt, Andy decides, well, shit, Barry's been telling me that they've been backing off. I'm going to run this shit myself. And Andy Teasdall tried to fake the punt on his own, but at the end of the day, it was really my fault because I kept going to him saying, hey, I'm telling them that we can fake this punt and we can get a first down and you'll look like, hey, Andy Teasdall fakes the punt. It's great for him. So Andy Teasdall tried to fake the punt, ends up getting tackled. Coach Sweeney flips.
Everybody knows. Yes.
Oh, and he flipped on TV and everything. And he's in the locker room and he's like, the punter just lost his mind and we're still in the game. And even though that happened, there's still no doubt that we were going to win. He was just saying, like, guys, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're saying this kind of thing. And to Andy, I said, hey, man, I'm sorry you got ripped up like that. Like, I'll go to him and I'll tell him that I told you that, hey, there's a chance that we might be faking the punt and it messed up your head. And then he's like, you know what, man? Let's just leave it be. Don't go to him and tell him. And I was like, all right, you sure? And he said, yeah. So the fake punt, when we played North Carolina, that Andy Teasdall got ripped on national TV was really, that was one of my coaching gaffes for my career. And that was because I kept going to him, telling him that he's going to be able to fake the punt. And he sure enough did it. And I promise you, I thought I was going to get fired or left in Charlotte.
Oh, my Lord. But you can also take credit for the Orange Bowl throw to Christian Wilkins because that was sort of his Dabo's, maybe, I don't know about apologies the word, but sort of showing Andy he still loved him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I wasn't as scared of the Orange Bowl throw to Christian Wilkins as I was when I thought I was fired. Yeah, I thought I was like, hey, look, I love you, coach. It's my fault. Go ahead and send me on the bus. Yeah, I thought I was going to be walking back.
What do you think Coach would have said had you revealed that to him?
I mean, to be honest with you, he knows. I mean, at least I think he does. But it's like I said, I'm just trying to find a way for us to win and get an edge on the game, and I'm just doing my job. That's why, every coach, no matter what position you coach, when special teams is out there, you have a responsibility on special teams, whether it's count the number of men, whether it's watch the right side, watch the left side, watch the onside, watch the defense, watch the offense. You have a responsibility. And for my responsibility, I felt like, hey, y'all, if y'all are watching this, we can sneak this punt. And then I went back and watched the film, and I stood by what I said, but I just probably shouldn't have went up to Andy and got in his head and said, hey, we might take a punt. And then Andy now, he's not focused on the punt. He's trying to see if the defense backs off or not. And if you get what I'm saying? And it just messed up his head rather than let us set it up the right way. And so I felt horrible. And it was just kind of funny to look back on it now.
Is there any footage of you looking like you're about to vomit?
No, I was just more scared of what he had to say.
Yeah. Last question. Sounds like you got family stuff to get to.
Yeah, they just walked in the door.
Last question. What is your take on the football season being played this year, amid the pandemic and all that, just as a former coach and player?
Man, I think football cures all, man. It's like a warm bowl of soup, when you sit. If you're not feeling good, you sit down and watch football, you feel a little bit better. I think what football does for the community, for the country, for everybody watching, brings people together. It gives people a chance to challenge others. It's good fun. And so I think we should always play football, man. I can't see, even though I was born in England, I grew up playing soccer, and I didn't start playing football until I was in 6th or 7th grade, but I can't picture life without football now. So, not having a football season, you just lost, man. We prepare all year to have football season. I got a grill by my front door from my tailgate, waiting to open the box and load it into my truck. And so I know we have to be careful with all of this. I know the next war is probably going to be some kind of bio war where, they're spraying stuff over. I mean, it's just, I said, it's just, we're trying to change with the times, but as long as we can line up and spot the ball on the field, I mean, that the entire Tiger Nation and all the Clemson fans and the entire program, I know they can't wait to play, and I can't wait to watch them and cheer them on. So I don't like to even think about not having football, but you got to be careful with everything that's going on. I think the coronavirus is gone. The success rate on it was like 99-point-something%. So I hate it for, I guess it affected the elderly more just because of the immune system, or I don't know what it is. I didn't really look into it too much, but like I said, I go into different places at work and I don't wear a mask. I try to be as careful as I can when I come home and wash my hands and that kind of thing. But I don't think the coronavirus is the reason that we shouldn't play football.
Durrell,
that's just my opinion.
Yeah, sure. That's what I asked for. Thank you for your service. Being anti-police brutality doesn't mean you're anti-police.
Right, exactly.
And I and many others appreciate the work that you and the good cops do. So it's great to catch up, and I need to have you on more often.
Always, man. Anytime I can help.
All right, y'all be safe down there in Lexington.
All right, thanks, Larry.
If you're a business owner and your business involves credit card processing, you need to reach out to Tandem Innovative Payment Solutions. A lot of different ways that Tandem can improve your bottom line by shaving off some of those expenses. In addition to processing credit card payments, Tandem also manages inventory, schedules staff, tracks sales, gains insight into customers, and gets transaction reports. With Tandem, you're not a number, you're a neighbor. Learn more about Tandem at tandempayment.com. If you're in the Eastern Midlands and PD area and you're in any way interested in buying and selling a home, commercial property, land, need to consider reaching out to Uptown Realty. They're based out of Sumter and run by a friend of mine, Patrick Enzer, big Clemson guy, used to cover the Tigers in a newspaper capacity, longtime supporter of Tiger Illustrated, longtime listener to the Dubcast. The home buying process should be an enjoyable experience, so let Patrick and his staff do all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call 803-774-0435 or go to uptownrealtysc.com. Happy to have Founders Federal Credit Union on board as a sponsor with us. If you've been to a sporting event in Clemson, you've probably heard about Founders already. They are the official credit union partner of the Clemson Tigers. In addition to that, all Clemson faculty, staff, and students are eligible for membership as well as IPTAY members. Matt Gross is a proud Clemson alum and the vice president for the Clemson market for Founders Federal Credit Union. Matt's office is located beside the Walmart Neighborhood Market on Old Greenville Highway in Clemson. For more information, go to foundersfcu.com. All right, now shifting to Chris, PT, Chancellor. Here we go. Okay, joined by PT, Chris Chancellor. How you doing, bud?
Hey, man, pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So, over the last few podcasts, with all the stuff that's been going on, I have reached out to various figures just to sort of listen to their takes and feelings on things, and hopefully, give our listeners an opportunity to listen as well. We had Patrick Sapp on last week, also Dutch Coleman. We had Durrell Berry on the first part of this podcast, who's a fellow police officer. And so I just want to ask you, Chris, a police officer in Clemson, what have the last 2 weeks been like for you as you've tried to wrestle with everything that's gone on as an African American and then also as a police officer?
Yeah, as far as work-wise, it's been pretty steady. Like I said, we deal a lot with the COVID-19 stuff, so just taking extra precautionaries in regards to that. Clemson, there's not a whole lot of people up here in Clemson at the moment. We have a couple of students that come back here and there, dealing with the normal population of, the locals, things of that sort. But for the most part, it's been pretty calm, cool and collective. We had one protest here in Clemson. I think it was a week ago on a Sunday. I think about 8-9 people showed up. And actually, we have a peaceful protest coming up this Saturday in regards to the football team leading it. So for the most part, everything's been pretty, cool in Clemson. Everything's been pretty subpar.
I guess it's going to be all hands on deck Saturday for the peaceful protest of the football team.
Yes, sir. I would assume. We probably have people come in just to kind of make sure everybody is safe, make sure there's no issues with anybody coming from the outside in trying to start anything up. And like I said, it's peaceful. Everybody coming together as one unity. That's what I expect. Clemson is a family. So I would assume that everybody's going to be very peaceful. Everybody's going to be, oriented and just loving going on.
Within the last hour, we're taping this on Friday morning, the Clemson Board of Trustees voted to take the Calhoun name off of Clemson's Honors College and also voted to take the Tillman name off of Tillman Hall, Ben Tillman's name. The state has to approve that, but basically the trustees is unanimous in removing that name as well off of that building. And I think that a big part of this has been Nuke Hopkins and Deshaun Watson and many others speaking up and saying that those names needed to be changed. What's your reaction to that and sort of the power of the voices of prominent athletes sort of speaking their minds on topics like this?
You have those celebrity figures, Deshaun Watson, Nuke Hopkins. Those guys came to Clemson. They played a major role in, helping build the brand of Clemson on a national level. Those guys are still, in the NFL, representing Clemson too as well. So those guys have a tremendous voice in regards to, things that they feel what's going on in the world today. I actually didn't know, as far as, like I said, within the past hour, they voted to have it removed. I actually didn't know that. Like I said, I've been just a little busy between work and then my family and everything, but I didn't actually know that. In regards to the names, I have to dig into it and just do a little bit more research on those. I see Deshaun Hopkins mentioned something on, I think it was Twitter, that I might have saw a screenshot with him talking about, I think it was Calhoun being the slave owner or whatever it was that Clemson was built on. I'll just have to take a little in-depth look in regards to that. But, hey, if he was a slave owner and these things and how Clemson was built, you don't want to associate yourself with things like that. All right, because everybody knows, as far as in this world, as far as in the United States, how slavery was, the horrific images that you see this day and age, the things that went on with slavery. So associating yourself with things like that, I don't think that plays a role in the society that we live in today. There should be no place for that.
Can you put us in your mind, as you, an African American who's also a police officer, sees the video and the images of George Floyd, just being in that moment of seeing it for the first time, your emotions?
Yeah, it really does suck. My thoughts goes out to the George Floyd and his family. That video, it was horrendous. Not only myself, but, other police officers in this profession thought the same thing. There's nowhere as far as in training that teaches you to put your knee on somebody's neck for that amount of minutes. I'm a defensive tactic instructor for the city of Clemson, and I would never teach anyone to do that. We have different protocols that we have to do in regards to prisoner intake, prisoner safety when somebody's in handcuffs, positional asphyxia for somebody suffocating while they're on their side or on their stomach. So we do go through the proper protocols and training in regards to that. And like I said, that video, it was hard to watch, and that's why all the protests has been going on in this day and age.
Do you have any thoughts on the Clemson's football team and some of its leaders coming together to develop the idea of tomorrow's demonstration?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Clemson is family oriented. These boys, these coaches, everybody comes together. Those leaders, which is, Trevor Lawrence, I've heard Darren Ransom is putting them together. I've seen something on Powell speaking about it as well. I mean, these guys have voices in the community, and these guys are put on a pedestal in order to, go out there and, speak with people in regards to race relations or whatever it may be, sports in general. And what I say is, listen to them. Listen to Trevor Lawrence. Listen to Powell. Listen to Rancher. Listen to Coach Sweeney. I mean, everybody is not going to always say the right thing. There's going to always be disputes. There's going to always be people who don't like what you say. But everyone also has an opinion. But if you go into it with an open heart, and then you'll realize and you'll understand what people came from, you'll understand, how people were treated, you'll understand as far as how people live different in the world back then and then in the world now. So I think that them coming together as one, unified is going to show a lot of people as far as we all want the same thing in common, which is, unity. And I preach this all the time on my Facebook, my Snapchat, whatever it may be. I teach my son as far as, unity. You need to love everyone. If someone treats you wrong or whatever, if somebody said a bad word to you, you deal with it. You still love them. I mean, the good Lord has always told us, we're one. We're one human race. So we need to learn to love each other, and that's the only thing that's going to make us move forward.
How old is your son?
My son is 11 years old, and then my stepson, he's 6.
Okay. What do you, how do you explain this stuff to them, that the images for the last 2 weeks? Because our young people, including my kids, are like, they don't have a notion of racism and all that, and they're like, this confusing, and you wonder how much you should tell them, are they too young? Like, how do you navigate through that?
Well, my stepson, he's 6, so he don't really, know a lot about, all the racism and everything that goes on in the world today. My oldest son, which is Chris PJ, Chancellor, we call him PJ Prime Jr. He know a little bit. I'm not sure if he, saw the video. I haven't really spoke with him about it yet, but I'm not sure 100% if he saw the video on what went on. He's more of the social media, TikTok, things like that, and he always wants to go fishing. So his mind has not been wrapped around the racial tensions that's been going on in the world today.
Are y'all planning on mounting the bass that you sent, the picture that you sent me that your son caught?
Little that bass probably was less than an ounce or whatever.
Throw it back, I guess.
And I can say, throughout, COVID-19 and all the racial tension that's going on, how we get our mind away from stuff as a family, me, my wife, and my stepson and my son, we'll go out and we'll go fishing, to a lake house. Like I said, my wife, she's actually white, and I'm black. Mm-hmm. She normally has my back, I have her back. If anybody says anything wrong about the white race, and then I need to step in and say, okay, well, that's not what's black. If anybody says anything about the black race, then that's when, she steps and say, you know what, no, it's not that. So I believe, us coming together as far as a family, it shows people that two races can coincide. And I love my wife to death. I love my stepson and also my son, who's also biracial. Both of them are biracial. So, like I preach all the time, unity and love is what's needed in the world today. Yeah,
it seems like through your Facebook, sort of the message is you send out. You're sort of a voice of humorous and loving reason. Is that the right way to put it? Is that the intent?
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, my purpose as I was put here on earth is to make people smile. Be that positive role model to, the youth or, even older people. If they see I'm always happy all the time, and this is not anything that just started. When I first got to Clemson, I was always happy. For some reason, it just made me, delightful.
I can vouch for that. I can, because I was around back then. You were.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, it's because you was a football player and this. Well, no, not necessarily. I'm a police officer now, but guess what? I still carry that same attitude as far as being joyful. If I come into contact with somebody on the streets, I'm going to smile at you. Hey, how you doing? I hold your doors for you or whatever it may be. Even if I'm not in uniform, I still approach every day the same, to wake up, to serve God's people, to love each other, to try to build unity. I tell people all the time, I'm a football coach. I coach people from many different races. I may have an Hispanic player, I may have a white player, I may have a black player, or whatever it is. I don't care what color my player is. My main goal and my main purpose is to serve that player's heart, to serve their parents. Their parents may have, difficulties with, the way I coach or whatever it is. But I don't think that they see me as a bad guy, even though I'm African American or if I was white or whatever it may be, because my heart, they know is pure. And I tell people too as well, when I first got to Clemson, South Carolina, I didn't know a whole lot about race. The school that I went to was called Miami Edison, predominantly black, 98.5% Haitian. I didn't know a whole lot about white. My first experience with white, individuals is when I came pretty much to Clemson, and I had to take classes, with different people of different races, Indians, Hispanics, whatever it may be, blacks. Everybody was in my class. So me also being on the football team was the same thing. I got people that came from all different type of backgrounds. And so me with an open heart and just developing that lovely attitude as far as Clemson, one solid orange, we're one family, I had to instill that. Maybe I need to open my heart and understand or get to realize or get to know this individual, my teammate, and love them. And surely enough, me loving them and getting to understand them and me being that leader to them, that is why I was voted, team captain of my football team for Clemson University. Because of the type of, love that I put out, the understanding that I put out, and just being, that ultimate team player in regards to unity and making sure everybody's unified.
I guess being here and being a former player, you follow the program really closely.
Yes, sir. I most certainly do. My best friend actually still coaches for the team, and DeAndre McDaniel, Coach Sweeney, Coach Reed, McCorvey. All those coaches are still there. And, I see these guys in town all the time. I still go speak to them. I still talk to Coach Sweeney occasionally. And like I said, I'm blessed to be in this area of Clemson, South Carolina. I don't want to live anywhere else.
What's your take on the program over the last 5, 6, 7 years and just where it has gone? So, when you were playing, it was like the ACC championship was kind of a pipe dream almost, and now it's like a birthright.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like I say, first 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, prior, we were good, but we just never could get over that hump. I remember 2009, whenever we, first started coming along, whenever we went to the ACC championship and we lost to Georgia Tech. It's like, okay, well, maybe, we can get over that hump a little bit, but we're still not there yet. We have to reach over it. So Coach Sweeney, being the man that he is, put the correct people in place that fit his type of coaching. The leaders, which, Jeff Davis and, some of the other coaches that he has right now, Woody McCorvey, being a father, mentor to him, Coach Sweeney designed the program to where, best fits Clemson. And I think that's helped a whole lot because, like I say, now it's expected of Clemson to be great. I can't imagine if Coach Sweeney loses 2 games in 1 year. Can you imagine? People will be, oh my gosh, we're going down.
Hot seat.
Yes, Clemson, Coach Sweeney is done. Coach Sweeney needs to be fired. Like, people will be calling for his head if he lost 2 games. So, like I say, it is expected for us every single year to be in ACC championship and fighting for a chance to make it to the national championship.
Your favorite memory from your playing days, and it doesn't have to be like the obvious one. Just the first thing that sticks out as to your most memorable snapshot.
Let me see. It's kind of hard because I did have a good bit, a whole lot of those. People ask me what was my favorite game to play in. I would have to go with probably South Carolina, but I do have a favorite memory, though. I'll tell you this. I just actually thought about it. It was against South Carolina State Bulldogs. Coach Blackwell is the guy who recruited me out of Miami. His brother, the other Blackwell, actually was the offensive coordinator at South Carolina State.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen him a couple of times. He'll come, be with his brother. And I talk to him all the time. So he used to always tell me, you know what? When we play y'all, you best to believe that I'm going to come right after you. You're undersized. You're small. I don't think you have it in you. And I was like, all right. You do it if you want to. Surely enough, when we played against South Carolina State, I believe it was the second or third play of the game, or maybe it's been the first, he actually did what he said he was going to do. And he came after me on our sideline. He tried to throw a fade with a guy that was like 6'4". And you know what I did? I went up, intercepted the ball, and I let him have it. Let him have it. I was like, you say you was going to do what? So every time I see him, I always remind him about that same play.
You, ran over there to the other sideline?
No, I didn't run over to the other sideline. I wished, but no, Coach Biden and Coach Sweeney wasn't going to have that.
You were looking over there, though, I guess.
Yeah, I was looking over there because, Mike Hamlin brothers played over there, too, as well. Marquis and, what's his name, Marquise.
Okay. Man, those are bold words coming from a coach at South Carolina State going into Clemson.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, he tried to make it all fun and games, but he knew that his brother recruited me, and he knew I was kind of undersized playing that corner position, so I guess he just wanted to try it, and he didn't know how big my heart was.
Hey, what is your take on the 2020 season being played, amid a pandemic and all the dangers and all that stuff? Do you have an opinion on it?
Man, it's crazy because if you look at it now, the cases are steady on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think yesterday we reached, 700 cases in one day or 687 cases in one day?
Yeah.
The day prior, it was like 683. So it seems as if we're constantly going up. So I have no clue. I just continue to tell everybody that, to be safe. Wear your mask if you're going to go out in public, if you're going to be around a big crew. Like myself, I'll have a mask on during this protest if I have to work. It's going to be a large crowd. I just want everybody to be safe and not take this, COVID-19 as something far as a hoax or something far as, it's gone away already. No, it's not. It's still here. Cases are still on the rise. And I don't know what's going to happen with Clemson's football program. I coach Little League football. I don't even know what's going to happen with Little League football, too, as well, if cases continue to be on the rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can just hope for the best. And I just want to say, I know I speak for a lot of people. Thank you for, using your platform to try to spread joy. I mean, that part's infectious, too, luckily, and positivity and just being a valuable member of this community. And
no problem, Larry. I appreciate you having me. And like I said, I've been knowing you for a long time, since 2007.
Yeah, I
when
believe so.
When we first started with Tiger Illustrator, Mr. Ryan Bartow as well.
Yep, that's right.
But like I said, you've always been, one of the good guys to me, and not only to me, but also those around you. And I can, vouch for you as far as preaching unity as well. And I just appreciate you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, buddy. Be safe out there.
All right, no problem, man.
All right, thanks so much to Chris Chancellor and Durrell Berry for their service to our communities, especially during this time. Really appreciate the support of our 7 sponsors. Please consider patronizing them if you are in position to do so, and hope everybody out there has a safe weekend. We'll be back next week. Cheers.